Venice, one of the most stunning cities on Earth. Over 50,000 tourists arrive here each day for the carnival, culture and canals. But what they don't see is how this city works. This is Venice from the inside. Around the clock, emergency teams fight to keep a city built on water safe and working. With unprecedented access to police, fire and medical teams, we come face to face with the unique daily challenges and life and death drama.
Up to yesterday evening she was alright, and this morning she was found not responsive.
This is Venice 24/7, where the ordinary becomes extraordinary. It's summer in Venice, and the canals are congested with around 35,000 motorboats travelling through the waterways. The high volume of traffic takes its toll on the historic city, as the choppy waters erode canal banks and the foundations beneath. But each year the canals are cleared to make way for thousands of rowing boats. For one day, Venice's motor engines fall silent and the city stops as locals and tourists take to the water to celebrate their love for this ancient city. The Voga Longa, or Long Row, is a 37-year-old non-competitive regatta, and people from all over the world sign up to take part.
First time. I'm very excited because everybody tells me it will be crowded, it will be crazy, and 34. I was hoping it's like 1,000 something. 34, that's a good number. Really good.
Up to 6,000 people are expected to participate this year. An all-female rowing team called Viva are regular entrants. Team member Nancy McElroy from Kentucky now lives in Venice.
I've been coming and going for 9 years, and when I decided I just didn't want to be on vacation, I really liked this life. The things that I really love about Venice are not the things I expected, really. I mean, I think there's this whole mythological, especially, I would say especially Americans, because I know them better, but, Venezia, Venezia, Venice is so beautiful. Well, it is, but there's so much more that's substantial about it that is to love.
The women who formed Viva are from Venice, Germany and the States, and have rowed together for 5 years. They practice 5 times a week. The rowing festival is the culmination of all their hard work.
There's nothing more Venetian than the Volga. My passion is rowing in these canals. I just think it's fantastic. And there are people who row across the lagoon that are 60, 70, 80 years old at their own pace. It's the best exercise in the world. It's social, it's civic, it's part of this culture. And we just refuse to let it go.
Open to boats moved by manpower only, the 19-mile journey is dedicated to raising awareness of the damaging effects of motorboats on the city's foundations.
It's bad for the lagoon, it's bad for the ecology of the lagoon, and it's certainly bad for all the infrastructure of the canals, all the electricity, it's all underneath. And when you go through a canal with this really powerful motor, it just sucks everything about it. So it just ruins the infrastructure.
The speed limit is just 3 miles an hour. The only boats allowed to break it are the emergency services, who can travel over 30 miles an hour. At the Venice fire station, shift boss Giuliano Mainardi and his team get a call out.
Recuperare una bricola che in mezzo ai canali ostacola la navigazione.
There are 90,000 logs marking the waterways in Venice, but the exposed wood rots quickly, causing them to detach, creating a floating hazard for river traffic.
Quello grosso sì.
I think it's
They try to put it up onto the boat, but it's too heavy. So an alternative solution is found. The team drag the log to shore where they can secure it, out of the way of passing traffic.
Massini, quelli di Modizia non portano via. Se ce la fanno, non so. Magari.
Stopping this ancient city from crumbling into the water is a problem faced by every Venetian. Local police commissioner Giordano Zwin is only too aware of his responsibility.
Venezia ha problemi di traffico, ha problemi di turismo. Ogni unità che si sposta nell'acqua crea inevitabilmente moto ondoso. Il moto ondoso ne abbiamo di due tipi. È quello di superficie causato dalla carena, dallo spostamento dell'acqua che crea l'effetto onda che poi si va a infrangere sulle fondamenta. E il secondo tipo di moto ondoso che è quello causato invece dallo spostamento delle eliche e dal passaggio dei grandinari che crea lì su lo spostamento d'acqua che invece è diverso, che non è visibile. Già l'onda che sbatte continuamente sulle fondamenta creando l'erosione e il cedimento delle stesse. Spesso rive a sé stanti, molte volte invece parte di palazzo.
Reducing the speed of the boats helps reduce the wave motion on the canals, and it's up to local police to enforce these limits.
Vado a recuperare.
A high-tech network of 40 cameras in key positions across the city is used to catch offenders breaking the 3-mile-an-hour speed limit along the Grand Canal.
Ad esempio questo l'ho perso. Ogni tanto capita che è troppo veloce rispetto al mio punto di vista. Quelle che diventano di un altro colore, tipo viola, vuol dire che ha la foto. Quindi quando io vado ad aprire un'infrazione mi visualizzerà l'infrazione che è la fotografia, cioè mi dice il tipo di barca che lui ha individuato e la mappa.
A virtual map tracks the traffic in Venice's historic centre, with a dot representing each boat. Green for a boat travelling within the speed limit, yellow as soon as it's broken, and red for a speeding offence.
Non è semplicissimo. Perché non stiamo parlando di ruote, stiamo parlando di acqua, quindi abbiamo la marea che scala e che cresce, quindi ha un andamento, abbiamo l'abbrivio delle imbarcazioni e quindi l'imbarcazione si muove, anche se è a motore fermo, comunque si muove, abbiamo il vento, abbiamo le altre imbarcazioni che provocano onda, quindi cioè, ci sono vari fattori, non è semplicissimo stabilire e dire ok, a questo faccio la sanzione, a quest'altro no. Eccola qua sotto.
Controlling the canals and protecting the city is an age-old problem. Venice grew over a millennium. Houses and palaces were built on wooden piles driven into the mud and tightly packed with clay. It was from this floating city that the maritime power, the Serenissima Republic, was born. Today, the city's modern utilities are buried in these ancient foundations. From a sewage system to electric power lines and fiber optic cables, the life of the city depends on maintaining the structures it was built on. Erosion repairs are constant. Whole canals must be blocked off and drained so the work can be done. Engineer Adriano Ercole works with the team at Insula, a public company formed to carry out vital maintenance. For them, the traditional ways are often still the best.
costruiti 2 casseri fatti in legno secondo la tradizionale maniera con cui fin dai tempi della Repubblica Serenissima si chiudevano i canali per operazioni di questo tipo.
2 walls of wood or metal are filled with tons of clay. These dams are placed at each end of the section of the canal to be drained.
Accendendo le pompe provvederemo a prosciugare il canale.
Vital work needs to be done as cracks and crumbling plaster will appear in the building above, but in Venice, even a simple repair becomes a massive job.
E così questa è che, vedete, è tutta partenza di legno, ma il legno se sta in acqua, se non prende aria e sole, dura tanti anni, 130 anni sotto acqua, anche non crede che è ancora così buono, in buone condizioni.
Once the canal is drained all the way down, the damage to the buildings becomes evident.
Pulisci quello fango bene, quei mattoni che dobbiamo cavare tutti via.
Sometimes whole sections of the wall are in such a bad state that they have to be removed. But the teams must work quickly as once the wooden foundations are exposed to air, they begin to rot.
Marcio tutto. Fare fino a fondo, vedi?
Using a process called scucci-cucci, meaning patch up, the broken masonry must be made secure. It takes 3 months to repair 50 meters of canal. It's a time-consuming job, and there's no shortage of work.
La città di Venezia è ben lungi dall'essere completamente restaurata.
As the day of the regatta approaches, the weather takes a turn for the worse. Despite the adverse conditions, the women of Viva take to the water for some last-minute practice. They're rowing in a carolina, a traditional handmade Venetian fishing boat whose flat bottom makes it perfect for the shallow waters.
Up! 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 A tempo! Ragazzi, la cosa più importante è andare a tempo! Bravissime! Woohoo!
But after less than an hour on the canals, the team decides to abandon practice.
Did you feel that wind that just came just across? And we were just, I could never row. Neither could Adele, who was in the same position I was in the other boat. We never rowed. If we rowed, the boat just, this is like the theater, you know, when the rehearsal goes poorly, then opening night usually goes well. We hope that's like this. We hope.
As the city prepares for the Voga Longa, policeman Andrea Silveri is on duty, making sure that only licensed drivers are using the canals.
Facciamo un posto di controllo dove andremo a fermare delle imbarcazioni. 50? Sì, solo per notizia, abbiamo iniziato la sosta a Piazzale Roma.
48,000 boats are officially allowed in the historic center, but during the busy summer, unlicensed ones can slip through the net.
In centro storico, in zona traffico limitato, non può entrare. Ci favorisci i documenti, per piacere. Lei è il signor? Nulla di te. Sei sul rollino te. No, perché sul rollino d'equipaggio lei non compare. Ce l'ha l'assicurazione originale, eh?
It seems the boat this man is driving doesn't have a Venetian license.
Però adesso dobbiamo fare il verbale perché lei transitava in zona traffico limitato.
This time, the driver gets away with a fine and a warning. But the fight to protect Venice isn't just about controlling the canals. Outside the historic center, there's also an unprecedented engineering project underway. Out in the Venice Lagoon, they're working around the clock on the Mose, the biggest anti-flood project of its kind in the world. Flood defences will be built in the 3 inlets at Lido, Malamocco and Chioggia. These will form a protective barrier between Venice's historic centre and the sea. At high tide, steel gates will rise by pushing the water out with compressed air. These barriers will then stop the water from flooding the city. These gates will be housed in concrete structures called caissons, a kind of watertight box on the seabed. Enrico Pellegrini is working in a 250-strong team.
The shape you can see here is the recess of the gates themselves, which will be installed on the caissons once the caisson is on the bottom of the sea.
These enormous frames, designed by an Italian engineering company, are unique to Venice. They're now ready to be lowered into the water. The fate of the entire project rests on this operation.
The thing is that we have to take these concrete caissons, which are very big, 50 meter by 60 meter by more than 10 meters in height, and they weigh around 20 to 23,000 tons. We have to take them from the prefabrication yards and launch it into the water.
The frames will be transported via a railway system. These carriages, which can push the equivalent weight of a Boeing 747, will take the frames to a heavy lifting platform for the next stage.
At that point, we will transfer all the load on the platform, and this platform is going to be lowered very slowly, of course, until the caissons itself, it will start floating. Because the caisson, it's a box. It's an empty box, actually, even if it's a concrete tank, it's also very heavy. Anyway, it's a box and it will start floating at a certain point.
From here, the frame is tugged out to the point in the lagoon where the barrier will be constructed. Once in place, it will lift to form a dam between Venice and the sea. The whole operation takes around a week.
Due to the precision that we have to achieve, we are also operating at minus 30, minus 24, minus 30 meters underwater into a channel where the tide and the current are very strong. So this is the thing, it's the precision we have to achieve is very strict.
Enrico and the team have a total of 18 frames to construct. As it takes a year to make each one, they're working on 13 simultaneously. The race is on to complete the project. Without it, Venice will continue to be at the mercy of rising sea levels. At the Venice fire station, the team is taking a well-earned break, while one of their old colleagues returns for a visit. Veteran fireman Lele Tagliapietra retired 4 months ago and has come back to see how his former team are doing.
Lo aspettavo, disgraziata. Tanto non c'è più il fratello, attacco. Non l'avevo. Lo vedo arrivare. Basta,
But for those on duty, there's no glass of fizz as it's not long until the next emergency call-out. Rough weather overnight has sunk a boat moored in a private dock, and the owner has been unable to retrieve it himself. Using pumps which can move 2,500 litres of water a minute, they try to bail the boat out. Every time they start pumping the water out, more starts pouring into the back end of the boat.
Mettilo là davanti, là. Dove ti arriva? Più avanti.
With the back end made watertight, they start to pump the water out of the sunken boat again. Finally, with the boat bailed out, they manage to pull it free from the mud and tow it to a winch close by. Job completed, the team head back to the station where it's time to check their equipment.
L'attrezzatura viene lavata dal salso, perché altrimenti il salso tende a usurarla. Però ogni volta che ne facciamo uso in acque salse, passiamo un po' di acqua dolce in modo che il sale se ne vada via e poi rimettiamo in ordine, diciamo, la barca viene ripristinata.
It's the day of the Vogalonga. Since early morning, the Grand Canal has been filling with thousands of rowers.
1.657 imbarcazioni iscritte ufficialmente, 6.103 partecipanti.
Organizer Antonio Rosasalva, the son of the regatta's founder, has spent the morning making sure everything is in order. He's even managed to fix the weather.
L'atmosfera è bella, adesso il tempo ci sta aiutando, quindi presumo che tutti i presupposti sono buoni per avere una bella festa, una bella manifestazione.
The boats assemble at the start line, including Nancy's rowing team. Starting in the St. Mark's Basin, the route heads out in the direction of Burano, then back through the main canal of Murano, before re-entering the historic centre at Canareggio. For the duration of the regatta, the canal is closed to all motor traffic, with one exception. In his powerboat, Coast Guard Alessandro Vicentin must make sure the regatta goes without a hitch. But within minutes, the first emergency call arrives.
Charlie Alfa 1, vado subito io, cambio. Jeremy, ripeti la posizione della barca rovesciata?
On arrival, they discover that it's a man overboard rather than a capsized boat.
Cosa è successo? Sei caduto? Vieni, monta su da noi e dopo monti su.
Ho perso il sale.
Mi dispiace. Tiragli giù la scaletta dietro.
Luckily for the Vogalonga rowers, the regatta is heavily monitored by all of Venice's emergency services.
Ti assumi? Se arrivavate 5 minuti prima, rancuravate uno. Sono in acqua. Ciao.
Almost everyone is busy with the Vogalonga. Things at the Venice hospital are a bit quieter than usual. But not long into the shift, there's an emergency call.
Andiamo a prendere una signora che ha un problema, un'emorragia, andiamo a vedere insomma.
Avoiding the busiest route and travelling through near empty side canals, it doesn't take the team long to arrive.
Buondì signora, come andiamo intanto?
Va bene.
Cosa è successo?
Sangue.
Dove? Ok.
It seems this lady already has a serious lung condition. In order to try and establish the cause of her complaint, the paramedics need to run a set of tests.
Le è già successo signora sta cosa?
Mai.
Ok, bene.
Mai, detto mio.
Fa lei l'ossigeno signora? Signora? Lo usa lei l'ossigeno?
Purtroppo
Quanto ossigeno fa la signora solitamente?
22 ore su 24.
22 su 24.
Sì, signore.
Ok signora, adesso mi sentami posata bene, coi bracci così e ne altri la portiamo su.
Given the lady's age and medical history, the team wants to take her back to hospital to run more in-depth tests. Out in the lagoon, keeping the canals clear for the regatta is still keeping Alessandro busy.
Deve passare la Vogalonga, per cui lei si deve fermare e mettere da qualche parte.
But Alessandro isn't just dealing with wayward motorboats. One of the rowers has been taken ill.
Se vai tu fai l'intervento tu.
The paramedics have been called, but the ambulance is making slow progress through the thousands of boats.
Oggi più 180 196 saturazioni e 99 di frequenza, 97 saturazioni.
This man's blood pressure is dangerously high, so the paramedics take him straight to the hospital.
Probabilmente il signore era che ha vomitato tutta la notte, ha voluto farla lo stesso, lo sforzo probabilmente l'ha affaticato ulteriormente. Se stamattina non ha preso la pillola per la pressione, gli è schizzata la pressione alle stelle.
The Vogalonga is progressing into the afternoon. For Nancy and her team, it's time to gather some energy before pushing towards the finish line.
Adesso abbiamo fatto pausa pranzo.
Io grazie, a Macedonia sì, molto volentieri. Grazie, troppo
Molto sì.
Visto che sei buonissimo. Ci vediamo dopo. Arrivederci. Grazie.
The regatta is over halfway through, and the canals are increasingly congested.
Non si potrebbe circolare, il traffico sarebbe sospeso, lei è sopra secca e sarebbe da multa.
Despite the fact this is a peaceful rowing event, the motorboats still keep coming.
È interdetto nella navigazione.
Io gliel'ho già detto 2 volte, ma siamo i pagliacci noi siamo pagliacci.
In Cannaregio, the rowers are starting to arrive from the open lagoon. The course becomes much more crowded as rowers jostle for position to pass under the 3 Arches Bridge towards the finish line. Among them, the Viva rowing team.
Riprendi le medaglie, a destra.
Siete arrivati alla vostra casa qui.
And with seconds until the cannon marks the regatta's end, the man who fell in has made it back just in time.
Nasi, Vanna, Giovanna, Anna e Elena. Andiamo alla nautica.
Siamo stati contentissimi perché hai visto il tempo, è stato bello.
Sono infatti le chiese dentro che partecipano ogni anno, ne hanno saltata qualcuna per la verità, però partecipano. Di solito vi omaggiamo della quota di partecipazione in cambio di bel tempo. Metti una buona parola e quest'anno è stata una parola messa bene. Grazie a tutti.
With the Vogalonga over, Venice's canals return to the 21st century, motorboats and all.
The truth is, there's a place for all the boats in this lagoon, but they have to slow down. They have to slow down. It's better for the lagoon, and it's certainly better to maintain this tradition of the Volga.
In the final episode, the biggest event in Venice's calendar arrives. The Redentore. And a bridge is built across the Giudecca Canal in just a day. Venice. As thousands of boats and revelers throng the water, the emergency services struggle to be heard. And Venice's final party of the season goes off with a bang.